Xfinity XFi is more than just fast. It's internet that gives you ultimate control. With the XFi app, you can pause the Wi-Fi at the push of a button. Can your internet do that? Learn more at xfinity.com/xfi.
You dig down underground now, through the soul, through the cooling clay. As the dim fades above you, you move and you see gray. You know it's all good.
Ahoy hoy, and welcome to Old Men Yell at Cloud. I'm Christopher, and I'm joined as always by Patrick.
Hi.
And Jim.
Hey.
Today we're going to be discussing the Dismemberment Plan's third album, the 1999 classic Emergency and I. And we're excited to be joined by Adam Schneider. How's it going, Adam?
Hey, good. Glad to be here.
Excellent. Adam is half of the kick-ass industrial duo Big Time Kill, and I figured it'd be fun to bring him in for an artist that he would be pretty unfamiliar with. So what's your status level with Dismemberment Plan?
I know nothing about them before I came here. I think I told you, I thought they were somehow sounding like Dillinger Escape Plan.
Yeah.
So they both had a D and the word plan.
Yeah, they're both D plans.
D plans.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I guess they sound somewhat like which is not right.
Yeah, and to be fair, their name is suggestive of something else. They got it from Groundhog Day, actually, from the insurance guy who bumps
Yeah.
into Bill Henry.
Oh, yeah.
So that's actually where they got the name from, a comedy, which makes a lot more sense when you hear them sonically, what's going on.
I love Steven Tobolowsky. He's a goddamn national treasure.
Watch that first step. It's a doozy. Yeah, that guy is incredible. Points for knowing his name, though.
Fuck
Yeah, really.
Yeah, so I don't know what we can award points for or what they can be redeemed for at some
Here,
point
Pat,
in the
have a
future.
sip of my beer.
Thank you.
All right, cool. So just a little bit of background of the album. In 1998, the Dismemberment Plan, consisting of singer-guitarist Travis Morrison, guitarist Jason Cattle, bassist Eric Axelson, and drummer Joe Easley, was signed to Interscope Records. This occurred after the success of their second album, entitled The Dismemberment Plan is Terrified. They found themselves with a major label budget in an era when that actually meant something, and they descended upon Water Music Studios in Hoboken, New Jersey, with producers Jay Robbins from Jawbox and Chad Clark. So when beginning the record, Travis Morrison stated that his goal was to create an album that was a blend of Radiohead's OK Computer with De La Soul. It was written across 7 different rehearsal spaces, and Emergency and I's not-so-secret weapon was the acquisition of an emu sampler that the band used throughout. They sampled toys, video games, and vocals to create a number of unique textures throughout the course of the album. And lyrically, Morrison found inspiration in becoming an uncle and losing his father in very quick succession.
Damn.
Yeah, so you can definitely hear a lot of that in the lyrics after you kind of know about it. After enjoying their major label advance for a comparatively lengthy 3-week recording session, internal restructuring meant that the Dismemberment Plan would be dropped from Interscope before the album was released. So they kind of had a carte blanche, which was super rare to have at that point, where they had all the money from the label, they got dropped, and then they were free to do whatever they want. Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. So they didn't owe any money. So they went back to their old label, DeSoto, and presented them with this album. And it would go on to earn spots on several year-end and decade-end lists. They'd put out one more proper full-length, 2001's Changes, before breaking up in 2003. They were formed in 2011 for a series of live shows to promote the first vinyl release of Emergency and I. And within 2 years, released an album of new material called Uncanny Valley, which got lukewarm reviews, but basically led to the plan getting back together and doing more touring and just kind of being an entity once again. Yay! So, with that in mind, let's start talking about Emergency and I. Patrick, you're sitting right next to me. What was your favorite song?
My favorite song. I went with Spider in the Snow.
Can't say it, but I know that it's in there. You don't know, but I know that you're scared. All this money, spider in the snow.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Thought that was one that kind of spoke to me the most. It's just like very, very melodic and like kind of elegant. Especially those choruses just kind of like soar nicely and with like the vocal rounds and everything. It's very well crafted.
It's a very chill song.
Yeah.
I even commented at the beginning, like a dumbass, and asked if it was a Mellotron at the beginning.
Well, yeah. I mean, it fucking sounds like one. It's pretty uncanny.
Apparently, Jay Robbins wanted them to actually use a proper Mellotron for it. And if not that, he wanted them to use a string section. And they're like, no,
That's
let's...
too fancy.
Yeah, exactly. That was kind of their attitude towards it. And they ended up using a Casio instead.
Yeah, and it kind of gives it this like weird, like alien, but like also intimate feel to it. I don't know. It gave very haunting feeling.
Yeah,
overall.
it has a very specific mood that's kind of hard to put your finger on.
Yeah, je ne sais quoi, if you will. That's Spanish
Okay.
for give me a sandwich.
Adam, what was your favorite song?
I think my favorite song was "I Love a Magician."
Interesting. What did you like about that one?
That one, so that was my first time hearing the whole album, so
Yeah.
I think that was the right song. That was the upbeat, noisier one, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that really, I mean, that spoke to everything that I like. The noises, the falsetto, I thought was really cool that he kept doing, and I don't know, the whole vibe of the track was really good.
Yeah, I actually, I kind of picked up. I mean, the snare sounds great on this album throughout. I mean, the mix of the album I really dug. But
Yeah.
and that song specifically, I noticed the song was like just had this nice ringy kind of.
Yeah.
Nice chaos going
Yeah,
on.
a little chaos going on there. I really wasn't sure what the fuck was going on in the song, but I did notice the
Yeah.
snares.
That's kind of remnants of the older Dismemberment Plan. Before they made this album, a couple of the members were having a conversation when listening to the album before it, and they're like, let's make the next one more normal. And that was Emergency and I, the more normal one.
Right.
So this is like a little bit more of a glimpse as to what was going on with them for the album or two prior to
Oh, really?
this. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm pretty much unfamiliar with that era.
Yeah, apparently it was written around the lead guitarist got a new distortion pedal, and he turned it on, just started making some noise with it, and that was the genesis of the song.
Wow.
So
It was a DS1. Check out my new pedal, guy.
it's a DoD Super Distortion. I got a Guitar Center for $29.99. Jim, how's about you?
My favorite song is "The City."
The City.
Yes. I really like the drum part in that song, and I love the synth line in that song. And, it really gives you like that kind of vibe, like you're actually kind of like walking around in the city. Like you put this song on and walk around the city and be like, yeah, I fucking
that
feel
sort
this.
of-
But I mean, I guess like the whole like kind of premise of the song is like he's living in the city and like all these people around, but he just feels so alone and like doesn't belong there, but can't leave.
Yeah, alone in a place where it feels crowded.
Right, and actually, I noticed in the notes there, who's the other guy? Not J. Robbins, Chad Clark. He didn't want that song on the album, I guess, because he felt like it was too sentimental.
Which it's funny. I mean, it's actually a pretty apropos song for the Boston area at this point, because sort of the message is just about how the city feels empty with everyone that's leaving it and going elsewhere. So it's like the whole Los Angeles thing that's going on. It's pretty funny and apropos in that regard.
Yeah, there are a few. I was reading the notes on Wikipedia too. There are some other like prescient topics like social media. I think comes up on.
Right.
I forget which track it was. Might have been "What Do You Want Me to Say."
Interesting.
Yeah, kind of talking about the social media boom before it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we ready to say then that the Dismemberment Plan did 9/11?
Probably.
Okay. Okay.
They dismembered something, didn't they? Did they not?
if you
Some kind
take-
of plan.
If you take the length of the album and you divide it by 7, and then add 36, and then divide it again by 3.
Hold on, let me get my tinfoil hat.
Cool.
Cool stuff.
And
yeah.
then you convert it to binary.
All right.
And then change it to Zap Wingdings.
There'll be a picture of 2 towers and a plane.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. not to go back to like October of 2001 and the shit that was floating around the internet, but that was pretty ridiculous. All right, so I'm gonna actually change my opinion for my favorite song because my 2 picks got picked, and I don't want to be boring. For those playing at home, it was Patrick and Jim.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with A Life of Possibilities. It's one one of my favorite songs on this for sure. My favorite song on this rotates quite a bit, so it's not inaccurate to say it's my favorite. I like it because it's a mission statement of a song. It's the first song that, like, when you hear it, you know what you're in for.
It's a great kickoff song.
It's a great
Yeah.
kickoff song. It's dissonant as fuck, but very catchy, and that's one of the bigger themes of this album.
It's the first song that I heard by them when I put this album on for
Interesting, yeah.
the first time. Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of, what do you want me to say was my gateway, and then I sort of started easing into the first few songs. So Life of Possibilities I loved, Spider in the Snow I loved, and Memory Machine I sort of got there, and yeah, I don't know, it's kind of how I got into this album. So yeah, it's one of the first ones I really loved. It's one of my favorites. That synth bass song is great, and yeah, just the catchy dissonance is the thing that blows my mind.
I had
with this
some
album.
notes about that. It was a bold choice to have, like, the chords are definitely like F sharp major, but the synth bass pedal is playing in B, so it just has this like weird tension
Yeah.
throughout. Yeah, and like right off the bat, those fucking chord qualities are just super. Like you don't hear jazziness like that in a lot of post-punk bands.
Yeah, and the melody,
era.
the vocal melody is a flat-out tritone.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Through the verse, which is pretty unusual.
I made a note that was like, if ever a spectrum were to exist where Sonic Youth is at one end and Steely Dan was at the other, D-Plan might be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I've got to say, I disagree with the whole Radiohead and De La Soul thing for sure.
Yeah.
Because,
Well, you know, it's interesting you say that because in the liner notes, Jay Robbins is talking about. He's like, I don't think it was a comparison of anything to anything. It was,
Yeah.
it was just, you know, we had something unique and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree with that.
yeah, the liner notes for this reissue are fantastic. If you have a turntable and are interested in Dismemberment Plan, I'd strongly recommend picking it up. It has a bit of an oral history of the album, which is very, very funny because they get a bunch of the people who aren't in the band and who interacted with them. So there are people in like metal bands that were in that scene, and they're like, "Oh, cool, we're on a bill with a band called the Dismemberment Plan. This is going to be badass."
Right.
And then like they'd go into the venue and they'd see like the left-handed bass player like going nuts with the drummer, and it's like I can only imagine like what that reaction had to be. Patrick, what was your least favorite?
My least favorite, I was going to go with Back and Forth. You know, there were some songs on this record that kind of threw me through a loop for a second, and then it would always end up winning me back. There would always just be something would be like, and then like the right chord would just hit, or bring it back to something that's like a little more
Palatable.
palatable. Yes, exactly. Or like there would be a good payoff. I
Yeah.
just felt like there wasn't really that payoff on this particular song. It kind of just didn't quite do it for me. It just didn't feel like an ending to me. Or kind of just felt like a last breath. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a song that I think kind of exists as a vehicle for the lyrics, which I think that's one of the parts where he's a little bit more blatant about the fact that he's talking about like his dad and stuff
Right.
like that. And I think that that's kind of the reason that the song is what it is, and it is on the album where it is.
Well, now I feel like shit.
Yeah, what a piece of shit you are.
I get it though. I
I-
kind of thought that too. That it just kind of churns away, and it
Just
doesn't
goes
really
back and forth.
for an album that does so many unique,
Yes.
cool things. That's a very straight ahead track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think just it lacked a little luster to
Yeah.
me.
That's not uncommon for them, though, because the End of Changes was pretty similar to that, I thought, too, where it was
Yeah.
like a little bit of a lackluster track, and Uncanny Valley certainly had a lackluster final track as well. Adam, what was your least favorite?
My least favorite was actually Jim's favorite, which was The City.
So I'm not unsympathetic. I see why you left. There's no one to know. There's nothing to do. The city's been dead since you've been gone.
Nice. We're gonna have some
shit.
fights.
I actually have to make a correction first before you go. But when I was talking about Chad Clark and he was saying that he wanted to remove a song because
It was You Were Invited, right?
Yes, it was not The City.
Sorry, Adam, proceed.
I
Sorry,
can
sorry
see
that
that.
Jim's a rude asshole.
Because that's
what
the
I
drum
do.
machine one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, The City, it wasn't, there was no song on here that I thought was bad, but that song, it just didn't do anything for me in a way. Like, I thought it started and I was like, okay, it's got this jangly chord and the Moog was cool, and then I spaced out basically for the rest of the track.
Fair enough.
But I understand there's a lot of lyrical content that's probably important. But it did, on first listen, at least, none of that like registered with me. I was
Yeah.
just like, okay, this is kind of just like a down tempo track, and
If you're like me, I like never listen to lyrics first. Anyway, I always latch on to the music. I don't always hear lyrics right away.
Yeah.
yeah, I think I'm kind
Yeah.
of like that, unless it's something very specific.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that. I don't think I pick up on lyrics of an album until like maybe the fourth or fifth.
At least
listen
on like
through.
rock albums,
Yeah.
definitely not. Or like where the voice is sort
Yeah.
of more in the back.
Yeah, if it's a ballad and it's really exposed, like Nine Inch Nails Hurt or something like that, yeah, I know what he's saying.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still albums I've been listening to for fucking 20 years that I still don't know what they're saying. You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
Did he say when the light's out, it's less dangerous? Jim, what's your least favorite?
Oh, my least favorite is The Jitters. It was between The Jitters and Girl O'Clock. And I almost went with Girl O'Clock because he's kind of got this fucking Who Framed Roger Rabbit stutter thing going on.
I really like that actually.
Yeah, I do too.
I like that
But I
track.
get what you're saying.
And that was just irking me. But no, I went with The Jitters. It was kind of boring and slow. And like when I was listening to it, it reminded me of like, you know, when you have a really long band practice and it's the end of the night and everybody's just fucking exhausted and you're just kind of like dicking around, and that's what that song felt like to me.
You're on the
Yeah,
couch,
it's
just
yeah,
like
just
lying
yeah,
wanking around.
Oh, yeah.
strumming like dissonant chords.
There's one asshole in the band who insisted that you play one more thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just like, all right, let's just fucking do this so we go home.
Yeah, I can really hear that now. Actually.
Yeah.
I kind of dug some of the
I
things
got
sonically going on in it.
That's what I wrote in my notes.
The
yeah.
reverby guitar I liked quite a bit. And it also had the sample that they use, that kind of like sped up horn sample that's
that's
in
what that
the
is.
verse of You Are Invited as well. And that's the first time that appears in the album. Yeah, for me, I would have to say I love a Magician.
That's your least favorite.
It
really?
is, yes. Yeah, there's a lot of this happening here. Gonna have some fights after this. Yeah, I just didn't find a lot to really chew on. It's a cool song. It's just not one that I really found a lot to write home about.
I felt like I Love a Magician, Gyroscope, and Girl O'Clock were kind of in the same vein, where it was just like, let's just play something fast and chaotic. And
Yeah, they've grown on me a little more each time I've listened, but like it's taken me a while for me to make any sense of, especially like I Love the Magician or Girl O'Clock.
I
Girl
like those
O'Clock's
tracks
got
a lot. Girl O'Clock has that chorus though. That chorus melody is so fucking cool.
It is cool, yeah. Like I said, it wins you back.
And the rhythm section, come on.
That was the part of the track I didn't love, actually. I wrote that down.
Really?
I love the verses on that track and the bridge and everything. The chorus I thought was just okay.
Interesting.
He wasn't saying anything, right? He was like bop bop or something. Yeah, that was it. I thought the melody it was okay. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I put a note on that song that just said best rhythm section in indie rock class of '99.
Yeah.
oh no, yeah, I'll agree with that. The drums and the bass are very solid on this album.
For sure.
I think I made a note actually on Back and Forth. I loved the drum and bass combo in that.
Yeah, that is such a solid rhythm section. MVP.
MVP moment was actually. Sorry about that. That was
Patrick hitting the table.
outside.
Or a dinosaur outside.
MVP moment. Chorus chords in the Jitters.
When the days bring nothing new, and the sound of laughter makes you sick and snide, you know you've got the jitters.
Was I thought really cool, really dissonant, unexpected, maybe boring, like Jim said, but I liked it. God damn it! You're not going to hear voicings like that in a lot of post-punk bands.
Yeah.
Fair
enough.
I'm just gonna go out there and say that if you want to fucking fight me, too bad.
We've already established that a fight's happening after this. The lines aren't drawn yet as to who's on what side, but we're all gonna get hurt. Adam, how about you?
From my notes, I wrote down in Memory Machine when they had the dissonant chord changes of the bridge and they started yelling. That part really got to me.
Okay,
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Shit.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I don't know why I tried to, but I can't. That's a super cool part.
Yeah. Even looking back after hearing the whole album, that's one of the rare moments where it kind of opens up and you hear him kind of like yell like that, I guess.
Yeah. James?
Oh, my MVP moment in A Life of Possibilities. I really like the trilly kind of hammer on pull off little guitar thing there in the beginning. It's not even just the beginning.
Yeah, it's throughout.
Yeah, one of the hooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, good shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what really kind of hooked me with because it's the first track.
Yeah.
And that kind of hooked me.
Yeah, that reminded me a lot of the band Television.
Yep.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
kind of
by that.
harmonized lick. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I remember that was the lick that kind of brought me into the song. I was like, all right, these guys know what they're doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not just complete nonsense.
They know what's up.
And also in that song, like at the end, it slows down a lot.
Yeah.
And then it just fucking slams right back
There
in.
we
you
go,
know?
baby.
All right, Jim has his slam.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
There needs to be like a fucking Pee-wee's Playhouse, like when the word of the day is like fucking alarm goes off.
Except the word is always slam, and you're the one who always says it.
Yeah, we just need some like big fucking radio slam voices.
I need to go one of those soundboards.
Jim's slam of the episode.
With them like a fucking Godsmack riff.
Oh, that would be so good.
So good, dude.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to rig up a sample of that, set it up to a MIDI controller, so whenever Jim does it, I can just press a key on a keyboard that's hanging on the wall, because that's going to be that awesome.
Yeah, just get like one of those staples, like easy buttons, and just
Yeah.
It just transmit a signal to fucking Sully Erna's like house arrest bracelet, and it just makes them like yelp out in pain.
Is he under house arrest, or is that an assumption?
Probably.
That's a like a
Well, educated guess.
educated guess. Yeah.
Cool. For MVP moment, I'm going to say the strings on Spider in the Snow. It's audio nostalgia. It's amazing. Just very, very evocative sound off of something they found on a Casio. It's just perfect. Comparable albums.
Comparable album. I'm gonna go with a pretty obvious one because Jay Robbins produced it.
I know what you're gonna say.
I'm gonna say Burning Airlines,
Yeah.
Mission Control.
Well, he's in Burning Airlines, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
is the lead singer of Jawbox and Burning Airlines.
Gotcha.
And it's a sort of similar, like, jangly elements of prog, indie rock, kind of at the tail end of the grunge era, but they're definitely not grungy at all. But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like before the Pitchfork era, indie rock, per
Right.
se. Like, you know, before things got all 2002-y.
Yeah, never forget.
Never forget. All right, yeah, that's all about I got to say for that one.
Adam, what do you think?
At first, I wrote down XTC, drums and wires, but after thinking about it more, I think actually the band Archers of Loaf, White Trash Heroes, if anyone knows that album.
I'm not familiar, no.
They're an indie rock band, and I guess they were like a pretty, similar era indie rock band, and I actually don't know their history that well, but I know that they had like 2 or 3 albums, and then their last album before they broke up was this album, White Trash Heroes, and they just kind of went nuts getting weird with it from what was sort of a, regular guitar band, and they started doing odd things with harmonizers and samplers and prepared guitar and things, and it had a very interesting result where every track has a unique identity and sound to it, which this album does very well.
Yeah.
And I always respect that a lot in an album because it's really hard to do.
Yeah.
To because I didn't love every track on the album, but every track had its own place and its own identity. And this album does too, in a similar way, where it's just an odd indie rock album experimenting with things that it may not, probably shouldn't have in some ways. But
Probably shouldn't work, but
but it does, and it's cool.
Yeah, you get the idea that these guys genuinely just wanted to make some weird music, but
But
also make it somewhat accessible.
Right, and it works.
Yeah, they were having fun with it for sure.
It's a pop album, but it's a very, very weird pop album.
For sure.
Yes. Yeah, that's completely accurate.
I'm going to go. This is interesting. I actually didn't know this until I was doing some research when I got here. Shiner's The Egg, 2001, also on DeSoto Records and produced by Jay Robbins.
Interesting.
Yes, which I showed you one night, Christopher, in the car on the way to the Beers for Years show.
Yes, actually, I do remember that because I wrote down a note to download it or something and then never did it.
Yeah.
But Shiner?
Yeah.
I'm
The
not
album is
familiar with
called
it.
The Egg.
The Egg, yeah.
All right, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, but I think Jay Robbins actually sings some on that album as well. But yeah, I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize he produced that as well.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was as active a producer as he was. I thought this was sort of like the one weirdo project that he kind of took on. I didn't realize he was a full-on.
Pretty good list of shit that he's got.
Yeah,
going on.
apparently.
Interesting.
For me, it's something that's not necessarily sonically a lot like this, but personally, it's kind of intertwined just because I got into both of these albums at the same time, is Dove's second album, Some Cities. And again, it's not that they sound anything alike whatsoever. It's just completely for personal reasons. Dove's Some Cities came out right as I was listening to this album a lot for the first time, and just for that reason, they're both just bound together in my mind and cannot be separated.
Wait, what band?
Doves?
Doves?
Yeah.
I've never even fucking heard of them.
Oh man, if I can get this on vinyl, we'll do it someday. Some City's a great album.
I was just like asleep during the 2000s, I think. I checked back in around 2011 and was like, oh, these bands are pretty cool.
Well, it was weird because good music kind of like kept jumping back and forth between here and England.
Yeah.
And if you weren't listening to England in like 2005-ish, like things were getting a little hairy around here.
Yeah.
So totally understandable. All right, so one thing that Jim suggested we try doing tonight that we have not done before is give a rating to this album. So the rule that we kind of threw, the rule that we threw out is it's a rating between 1 and 10, 1 being lowest, 10 being highest, and just integers. So we're not going to do any pitchfork ratings here. You're not going to get a 6.7 or something like that. And
Are we retroactively rating the previous episodes?
that might not be a bad idea at some point. I'm not going to do it right now because I certainly cannot remember enough about Rush right now to make that work.
to
Hey, they
make
want
a,
Canadian gold, man. That's
Canadian
all you need
gold.
to know.
give it a Canadian 5. The exchange rate's great on it.
All right, so Patrick, what would you put down as a rating for this album?
I would give it an 8 out of 10. I think. I definitely really enjoyed it. I seem to discover new things about it every time. I would say if we were doing it out of 5, I would do 4 out of 5. So yeah, 8 out of 10 would make sense.
Cool.
To me.
Adam?
Having only given this album one listen, I would say I would give it like a 7.
Cool.
I liked it a lot. 3 tracks in, I think I was like, wow, I'm all about this band now. This is amazing. And by the end of it, I was still really into it, but some of the slower tracks kind of pulled me back.
Sure, yeah.
They weren't, I don't know, I guess as emotive as I thought they might be. There was that like big, like sad ballad that never came, I think, for this album that I was sort of expecting. But, I loved it. I loved all the odd meters and the jittery manic tracks and all those kind of ideas.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 7 as well. I do like this album. It's probably not something that I'm gonna be like, oh shit, I really want to listen to this right now. But it's definitely something that, like, if it was on, I'm like, yeah, this is a cool album. I dig it. I kind of agree with Adam where there are some tracks that are like, yeah, like if I had a whole album of this, I'd be all about this. But yeah, some of the slower ones, or even some of the manic ones, are kind of like, I don't know. So I'll go with a 7.
Cool. And I'd give it an 8 myself. It's not a perfect album by any stretch, but it's one that I pull out quite a bit to listen to. I usually go through a Dismemberment Plan phase at least once a year or so. And this is the album that I always reach for. Changes is great too. Dismemberment Plan is Terrified I enjoy. Even Uncanny Valley every now and then I'll give a spin and enjoy. But this is the one that I always come back to. So with that, it gives us a cumulative rating of 30 or 7.5.
All right.
So it's a solid C. It's passing college courses.
Good job, guys.
Cool. Anyone got anything else going on? Anything anyone wants to plug? Adam, you got any big time kill shows coming up or anything?
We have one in the works, but we haven't announced it yet for February that we're going to do in Alchemy with the band Telelectrics.
Oh, sweet.
So
that should be
fingers
fun.
crossed. It's
Those
not
guys.
100%, you know.
And where can people go to get more information on that?
When we announce it, it'll be on our Facebook.
Cool. So that's Big Time
Big
Kill.
Time Kill, or go to bigtimekill.com.
Ooh, you got the .com.
.com.
Sweet. Patrick.
No, nothing right now. Gremlins is they're hibernating right now.
Yeah, Patrick got me all excited, and then he shit all over my dreams.
Yeah. That's what I do. I don't know. Yeah, and we're trying to get a Bears for Years like album release show together too.
Nice.
So like keep your eyes out for that and buy our new album.
Yeah, it's great. I was just saying to Patrick.
Yeah,
Fucking
it is
awesome.
very good.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Jim, have you ever seen the movie Street Fighter?
No, I played
Yes.
the game.
Oh, okay. So when you were talking about him shitting all over your dreams, I was thinking about that bit that Bison was saying to Chun-Li when she was like talking about how he ravaged her village. And he's just like, for you, that was the most important day of your life. For me, it was Tuesday. And that, for some reason, I just went straight to Raul Julia for that one. Jim, what do you have going on?
What do I have going on? Not much. I'm hoping we can get some fucking Rampike shit ramped up soon.
I got you vocals, so I mean, I never heard anything after that. I said, hey, here's some vocals in the shared folder, and then I might as well have just said nothing to you.
You know what happened? I was at work and I thought you had put them in the track, and I was like, oh cool, I'll listen to this. But no, you just gave me a vocal file and you made me do work, and I didn't want to do work at the time. And then I just
And so
And
we're all on
brain
the,
just shut right up.
just so we're all on the same page. By work, what you mean is downloading a file and inserting it into a Cubase session.
correct.
Okay, cool.
Correct.
We gotta put all the thingies on it and shit. And
Yeah, I mean,
patch it to
I'm
the-
getting
to
tired just thinking
things.
about that, honestly.
yeah, I mean, I don't know.
My brain hurts. No, but yeah, we definitely need to ramp up on that shit.
Very Lamar should have a new album coming out soon. It's in the mixing stages now.
It's called Dipper.
It is not called Dipper, but yeah, so that should be coming out soon, and we'll give you more about that when it's ready. So, in the meantime, I am Christopher, and I'm joined by Patrick,
Yo.
Jim,
Yeah.
and
whatever.
Adam.
See you, Neil.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.